So we're creating the content around the offer to push to the offer. So it hopefully makes you start thinking about content a little bit differently, where like all these the things you're doing to create content anyway now are more valuable than just the one thing. I create a podcast and it's gone, right? I put it on YouTube and now it's gone. Like I always think about YouTube and podcasts and stuff are great ways to get people into my funnels, right? Obviously, but then those videos, I can use them inside of a funnel, especially for this type of content launch funnel. Okay. Okay. So again, number one, you gotta figure out what you want to sell and attach a Mifke to it. Number two, what content do you have around that? What could you create? What content has stories? Who could you interview about it? Like, what are things you can pull in? What stuff you've done in the past already on a YouTube channel or a podcast? You could, one of my friends, Matt Basak back in the day, he did one really cool. And him and his wife, they just laid in bed and they talked about, I can't remember what they were talking about. It was like an hour long. They called it pillow talk. Like my wife and I were talking about late at night. Like you just got to go grab your microphone, and record something. There's so many cool ways to do it, right? But creating the content around it. And then step number three, in fact, you come back. If you had a book, it could be you just reading. I read chapter 1, I read chapter 6, I read chapter 12. Like it could be just you reading a couple of chapters. That could be it too, right? Okay, now step number 3. This is how we structure, at least how we're structuring the emails, right? So I send 3 emails to get them to opt in to the content launch for that week. Okay, email 1, email 2, email 3. Each email is talking about a different story from the videos inside the members area. Boom. After they opt in, then again, I pull them off that email list. They won't get any of those 3 more emails. And then from there, they get the emails inside the content launch, right? So video number 1, video 2, video number 3. Okay. And then after that, then boom, everyone gets back on. We send 2 emails directly to the offer to everybody. So even the people who didn't opt in, and then the people who did opt in, push 2 emails to the offer to close people on the actual sell. All right. Now, the very first time I did this, like 4 or 5 years ago, this is what I did. And I'm actually going to teach you guys a way to do it differently because eventually Tim Shields, who just spoke at our last Funnel Hacking Live, he taught me a way that was different. In fact, if you were at Funnel Hacking Live, he dropped it in the last 30 seconds of his presentation and most people missed it, but it was like the secret sauce to this. So what we did the very first time is we built out these content launch funnels and we had like 30 of them. Like it was a long sequence, right? So we're opt in, they go through the first ones, the next one, next one. And it was great. But the problem is like after we had that whole thing structured, which took way too long, I dumped everyone at the top of the funnel. And then for the next like 30 weeks, they were going through this gauntlet. I had to promote FHL. So kind of like threw things off because like I can't email my list because I get emails here. And it kind of worked, but not really. But we structured when someone joined any of my email lists, they would drop at the top of that and then they go through this whole gauntlet, right? It was pretty cool. But the problem is like when they got in this gauntlet, then if we promoted anything external, it's kind of threw things off.